Hello and welcome to West Wales, and this is an impromptu craft and chat because I haven't done one for ages, and I've got some singles I need to ply because I've got to clear some bobbins because I need to spin up the demo for the rare breed spin along. I can't remember what it was called. It's my own spin along, can't even remember what it's called. So I thought, well, let's just do a craft and chat. So if you're new here, my name is Becca and I'm a hand spinner, knitter and newbie weaver, and I really just make videos about fibre arts and spinning and sometimes knitting and sometimes weaving, but mostly spinning. Oh, and sometimes dyeing as well, but mostly spinning. So my little dog is outside and it's really windy and I can just hear her starting to bark. So I may have to go and stop her from doing that. I think I can hear, you probably can't hear this, but I can hear my neighbours chatting. So she's obviously decided that she'd like to join in with the chat. So I'm going to have to go and sort that out, and then I'm going to do some plying on the wheel. So I shall see you in a moment. So I'm plying sock yarn, and it's a 2-ply sock yarn, which is what I prefer. I have tried 3-ply, I do try it periodically, but I don't get on with it as well. And I've really got quite a scrappy leader on here. I've always got scrappy leaders on my bobbins. Right. So, what are you working on? Do let me know in the comments. So I do feel like I've been kind of, it does really help if you put the brake on. I feel like I've been spinning this sock yarn forever. But what's happened is we've had visitors since I started this, and it really has put me back. Right, let's get this organised. There you go. Right, that's better. And this is for Andrew for a pair of socks. And this is a mixture of natural dyed and some sort of random stuff from my stash. Did on the blending board and then spun it in Worcester style with quite a lot of twist in it, because I do like a fair bit of twist in a sock yarn. But I really need some bobbins free because I've only got 4 bobbins, and that is very intentional, because if I had any more than 4 bobbins, I'd just have random stuff all over the place. So if I have only 4 bobbins, I have to get them finished if I want to get on with another spin, which is what I need to do, because I have spun 1 bobbin, or part of a bobbin, for the rare breed spin along. But I need to do another one so I can do a ply and then finish the yarn. And I think everything is going to come out in different orders, because I've been trying to get the spin along videos out on a Wednesday, but having had no phone for over a week because it died. Well, it didn't die, I dropped it for about the 26th time, and I ended up with sort of what looked like an oil slick across the screen, and it just wasn't working anymore. And as I record my videos on my phone, it was a bit of a disaster. So if you have very kindly bought me a coffee over the past few months, then the microphone is what you bought with it. You also bought a roving as well, which I will demonstrate on the channel, I don't know when, in the next few weeks probably. I've got loads of stuff planned, so it's really kind of, I'm getting really excited about some of the stuff I've got planned, but to actually have to do it, it's all very well writing it down in a notebook, kind of going, oh, that would be a good video, but you actually have to film them. And as I've said before, like talking head videos don't actually take that long to film, but if you've got to kind of spin and have a product, or kind of something to show at the end of the video, then they do take much longer. So I'm kind of not really concentrating very hard on this plying, but as I have said many times before, I'm not a particularly technical spinner. I think if you sort of want really technical spinning, then there's a couple of really good channels for that. And so if you are a beginner, I love to have you here and it's great, but I probably am not the world's most I am not the world's most technical spinner. So I think you've got Bex from Tiny Fibre Studio. She's a very precise spinner and she's got some great information on her channel. So if you're just starting out, really, really great information. So Bex from the Tiny Fibre Studio, she has written an article for Spin-Off magazine, and this season's, because it's quarterly, this quarter's magazine. I've got it digitally, and I also have a subscription for the print version, so that will come at some point. I like to have a print version, not just a digital version. Yeah, so what's she doing? She is spinning a fractal spin, and I will leave a link to Spin-Off magazine in the description below. Bex from Tiny Fibre Studio, very technically correct spinner and spins beautiful, beautiful work. I mean, not just technically correct, she spins very beautiful yarns. And then of course the other person who I always think of as being very technically correct is Evie from Gillian Eve channel. Is she just called Gillian Eve channel? So I think she is. But anyway, yeah, so she always, she's very technically correct as well in her spinning. And I think she always uses a yarn gauge, and she probably even, measures the angle of her twist on her plying, which I never do, because I just, ply and go, oh, it'll be fine. And generally it is. But then I'm only spinning to really please one person, and that's me. And I've probably said this before, spinning is my happy place. I can sit here and just look at the lovely colours and relax, and you've got that lovely rhythm of treadling and the wheel, and it is quite meditative. Meditative, is that a word? I think so. Yeah, so I definitely think of myself as not particularly technically correct, but I make the yarn I want to use. And I really think as long as you're doing that, I don't think it matters that much. I mean, probably other people disagree with me, and that is absolutely their prerogative. They're allowed to do that. But I'm perfectly happy just to spin the way I spin and not worry too much about the technical side of it. It is definitely the art side of fibre arts that I'm interested in. I'm very interested in the fibre actually, and the where the fibre came from, how it was produced. I'm interested in that side as well. And I think I've got to the point where I don't think I want to use synthetic dyes anymore. So I bought a really beautiful comb top, dyed comb top of Kate at Hilltop Cloud, and it's beautiful and I love it, but it's an acid dye, and I'm like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I don't think I want to use acid dyes anymore, even to buy fibre. It's just not sitting right with me anymore. I mean, I've done both acid dyes and botanical dyes for years. I mean, I was natural dyeing before I was acid dyeing. I used to, this is sacrilege, I used to buy Aran jumpers from the charity shop when you used to be able to buy Aran jumpers in charity shops. I mean, they're few and far between these days. And unpick them and dye the wool and knit them back up again. And that's before I was a hand spinner. That was when I was a teenager, and I waitressed as a teenager for my that was my teenage job. And so I had a little bit of money, but I didn't have quite enough money to buy the really nice yarns that I wanted to buy. So my solution was to unpick hand knitted jumpers from the charity shop and use the yarn, and also dye the yarn, but I used to natural dye it, and I used to go foraging for that. My poor mother. She put up with all my kind of crazy pots of dye in her kitchen, in her utility room. It's a good job she's a very relaxed person, isn't it? So, yeah. So yes, I have been natural dyeing for a very, very long time. And then when I learnt to spin, I was slightly besotted. When I learnt to spin, I got slightly obsessed with all these beautiful braids and wanted to do hand-painted braids. And so I bought acid dyes. Never actually did any hand-painted braids, but I did some kettle dyeing and did sort of rainbow dyes, which I did enjoy. But really, I don't, I think don't you? You know what's right for you. And I just don't feel it's right for me anymore. So I'm going to use the fibre that I have in the stash, that a lot of it is acid dyed and also commercially dyed. So I'm going to use it up because it'd be crazy not to. And then I think I'm done with the acid dyes, really. And it is a very personal thing. I'm not preaching to anybody saying that they have to do it. You have to do what's right for you. But it just is not sitting with me right anymore. So, yeah. Bye-bye acid dyes, I think. And I had this idea that I wanted to kind of spread the love around the fibre arts community when I was buying fibre for the channel. And I am, I love, as I say, I love Kate's work. I think it's brilliant, but I just don't want to use the artificial dyes anymore. So there you go. Having said that, I don't think I can give up recycled sari silk. I don't think I can give that up. I love it. Maybe I shall have to start dyeing my own silk. Well, now there's a thought. That would be an adventure, wouldn't it? So the kind of tagline to my website is Adventures in Spinning and Dyeing. So yeah, adventures in dyeing and spinning silk. So I noticed Evie on Gillian Eve's channel, she was working with nettle fibres. I do like the idea of working with plant fibre, but I really don't like the idea of processing my own nettle fibres. I have more than enough things to do in my life, and starting to forage for nettles and do that whole process, although it kind of sounds like it would be good fun, I also think it would be very, very time consuming, and I strongly suspect I would just end up with a load of slightly half processed fibre that I never actually did anything with. But I do like the idea of having a go at nettle fibre. Many years ago, when I first learnt to spin, I sort of experimented with lots of different fibres, so I did do quite a few plant fibres, and I have to say I like the idea of spinning flax for linen. However, I think I would need a faster wheel. Oh, the dog's just, I think we've got a delivery, so I better go and talk to the dog. She'll be back in a moment. So it was a delivery of English breakfast tea from Taylor's of Harrogate. And we buy it by the kilo. because, you know, could we be any more British? So who else buys tea by the kilo? And it's leaf tea. Don't really like tea bags. It's good stuff though. So after the little survey that I did, I had quite a lot of feedback that people wanted some sort of real beginner videos. So I started doing that. We've had sort of spinning wheel 101, using my spinning wheel as a example wheel and just kind of what all the different bits are called and what they do. That was quite good fun to film. So what was I talking about? Oh yes, I was talking about needing a faster wheel. So I think for linen I would need a faster wheel, which means that I'd have to have a smaller whirl. So what I can get for an Ashford traditional is what's called a jumbo flyer, and that has different ratio whirls on it, and I'm pretty sure there is a faster flyer, or well, a faster whirl, which is going to be suitable for linen. You can also buy a distaff as well, although I'm sure I've read somewhere there is a way of spinning linen without a distaff. I suspect that if it was particularly effective, everybody'd be doing it, so I think probably actually a distaff is what you need. I have also read that with the nettle fibre, you don't actually have to use a distaff. So I think if I do spin nettle fibre, it's going to be from prepared fibre that you can get from World of Wool. I'm sure you can get it other places, but I know you can get it from World of Wool. And pretty sure you don't need a distaff for that. But if you know, let me know. Drop a comment below. So how are we getting on? Oh, we're getting there. So if you are new to plying, then you want to try and get a good distance between your wheel and your lazy Kate, because it means that the twist has got more time to even out across the singles, and you just get a slightly better ply. It's more even. I mean, probably it could be a lot further away than it is at the moment, and I'm definitely quite guilty of having it too close quite often. But I am limited to space, as I tell you all the time, so kind of up there seems to work okay. And it's quite nice to be able to sit in the Equi Conservatory and spin, because it's actually warm enough. It's not heated in here, and during the winter it is chilly, so I really don't want to spin in here. But now we seem to have got a bit of a change. The seasons are changing. It's dry as well. I actually managed to hang the washing out on the line. Now I'm not quite sure whether you're going to actually be able to see the washing blowing into shot every so often. You might do. And I also realised that I put a little air out. It's got Andrew's underpants on, so I hope Andrew's underpants are not in shot. I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure I checked when I did it, but I'm just sat here kind of thinking maybe you can see the washing flapping, and then I suddenly thought, oh, I hope you can't, I hope you can't see the underpants. Oh dear. I really am not very professional at this whole YouTube stuff, am I? Oh well. Right, well, I am going to call it a day for videoing. I'm just going to carry on with this plying. I then have got to spin up the sample of the Border Leicester for the next rare breed video. And I'm sort of hoping that's going to be out by the end of the week. I also have my newsletter to write, so that should be out on Thursday. If you're not on the newsletter, then I will leave a link in the description below, and I write a weekly newsletter about hand spinning and the fibre arts, and it's free to join. And if you do sign up, just remember that quite often the first sort of sign up and the first newsletter can actually go to the, what they call junk mail, isn't it? Or is it junk mail? Yes, they call it junk mail. So it can go there first. So if you haven't had a newsletter by Friday and you've just signed up, then double check that it hasn't gone to your junk mail. Okay, right, well, I'm going to carry on with this and I will see you in a few days' time. So bye for now.